You've prayed, you've obeyed, you've waited, and still nothing moving. It looks like nothing you thought it would ever. It feels more like pain than purpose. It feels like God promised you something but disappeared before he delivered it. But what if the silence isn't punishment? What if the delay isn't delay at all? What if this is the most important part of your development? And you just can't see it yet. Because before the butterfly ever flies, it has to fight in the dark. Before the miracle comes the hidden stages. And today I want to share with you the 4 sacred stages God uses to grow your faith, even when it feels like he's doing nothing. But first, what's up, fam? I'm Wallace, leadership coach, speaker, author, founder of the Better Than Best Academy. I help Christian men like you chisel away false labels, and I use a framework I affectionately call the red print, where faith meets modern psychology to help men grow through hidden seasons. With that said, today we're diving into what it is like to go through the 4 stages of spiritual growth. Because just like the butterfly, your process is more sacred than it looks. Every butterfly begins as an egg, small, still, unseen. It doesn't roar, it waits. That is how grace begins, hidden, holy, anonymous. God doesn't plant you in the spotlight, he tucks you underneath a leaf where no one is clapping, but roots grow deep. Inside that fragile shell, the full design of your whole entire destiny is already written. Heaven's own red print. Maybe you're in that season now. No job offers yet. Your prayers feel quiet, and you're wondering if anything is happening at all. All life is preparation. I believe that the finish line is death. Even the parts that feel like delay. Every buried season is a birthplace. God's been shaping you beneath the surface long before you knew what he was about. You're not behind, you're being prepared. You may feel unseen, but God is crafting your wings in secret. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, Jeremiah 1:5. We've heard it before. This is your Genesis, the whisper of faith, the quiet yes that starts it all. God hears whispers the world ignores. Don't you dare rush small beginnings or discredit them. The egg doesn't shout, they incubate, they become. When Sir Walter Scott was young, he dreamed of being a soldier. An accident made him lame, ending that dream. He turned to reading old Scottish romances and became a master novelist. And an old man said to him once, he was making himself at the time, but he didn't ken maybe what he was about till years had passed. Even what feels like a detour, God is directing development. You have been made, though you may not see yet what he is making. When you finally hatch, your only job is simple. Eat, grow, feed, consume truth like oxygen. Because until Jesus came, no one really knew what God was like. Every verse you digest replaces a lie. Like, I'm not good enough. God only speaks to pastors. My trauma disqualifies me. No. Growth feels messy, monotonous, but every bite of the word builds strength to what's ahead. The caterpillar grows by shedding its skin again and again and again. Each layer it loses is one it's outgrown. You were shedding old versions of how you thought God was working in your life. The distant judge, the silent observer, and discovering the one who is love. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. We've heard it before, but it's vital truth that we must hear with fresh ears. Maybe that's you right now, outgrowing your fears, your titles, your borrowed names. You are not losing yourself. You were remembering who you were all along. Some of you were in that quiet, unglamorous stage. You keep showing up, praying, journaling, reading, and you're wondering if it's working. It is. Growth feels awkward because new wine doesn't fit in old wineskins. Every moment of spiritual hunger is proof you are still alive. Then comes the stillness. The soul turns itself upside down, surrendering, silent, suspended between what was and what will be. To everyone watching the pupa stage, it looks like failure. You disappeared, you quit, you got quiet, but in heaven, it looks like formation. Inside the chrysalis, the old body is melting away. What's left is liquid obedience. Forgiveness fills the cocoon. Not erasing your past, but restoring relationship. The distant God becomes near again. The one we feared becomes the lover of our souls. You're not stuck. You're not lost. You're not behind. You're being rebuilt from the inside out. This is your cocoon, your pupa, your hidden season, the place where striving dies and sonship begins. When God rewrites your desires, reshapes your identity, and rebuilds your heart from the inside out. Unless a seed falls to the ground and dies. John 12:24 says, if you're anonymous and unknown right now, don't fight it, lean in. The solitude isn't punishment, it is preparation. The silence isn't absence, it's assignment. It's where the walls between guilt and grace dissolve and friendship with God is reborn. It is not a prison, it is a womb. What looks like death is resurrection under construction. Before we move on to the next stages, I know the final stage will speak to you probably the most, so stick around for that. But before then, I really feel like there's a lot of us, a lot of you watching that are in this stage, the pupa stage, right now specifically. So I want to dive in a bit deeper here. You see, when the caterpillar enters this stage, it doesn't simply sleep, it surrenders. It anchors itself to a branch, to the vine, curls inward and seals itself inside that what looks like a tomb. Now, to the outside observer, it feels and appears lifeless, forgotten, or even dead. But within that still shell, creation is roaring. Biologically, the caterpillar's body begins to dissolve into a liquid form. Insides break down, its old tissues, muscles, organs, and the very structure that once gave it movement and appetite. If you were to peer inside of this moment, you would see what seems to look like chaos. Unrecognizable shape, just like a living soup of cells and memory. Yet hidden inside that chaos is the imaginal shells, dormant blueprints for the butterfly that were always been waiting. These cells were present from the very beginning, tucked into the caterpillar's DNA, but they can only awaken once the old self was broken down. One by one, these cells begin to communicate, to connect, to build. What looks like deconstruction is actually design. The death of the old form makes way for the birth of the true form. Spiritually, this stage mirrors the moments in life when God calls us into silence, obscurity, and the waiting. We call it delay often, but heaven is calling it development. That pupa is where we learn that stillness is not stagnation, it is sanctification. It is the divine heart surgery of transforming where God removes that which can't fly and reshapes and refashions it into what can. It is the secret room where identity is rewritten in the dark, so that when it comes to the light, you're no longer crawling, you're capable of flight. The butterfly does not fight to emerge before its time. If the chrysalis is open too early, the wings are not developed fully. The creature will never fly. Likewise, if you rush God's process for your life, if we demand visibility before maturity, we will cripple the very strength we were meant to soar with. True transformation takes time, tension, and trust. So are you willing to have that trust? See, the pupa reminds us every hidden season is holy. Every dark cocoon is a divine construction site. Every pause is preparation for purpose. It is not the end of your story, friend. It's the messy middle, and it's in the middle that the miracles will happen, where heaven works in silence and faith learns to breathe without evidence. Then, a tremor. Crack, split, silence, light leaks in. Even now, the wings must wrestle with the walls. The struggle isn't cruelty, it's calibration. Without pressure, there is no power. Without pressure, there is no power. Without resistance, the wings would never strengthen enough to fly. You've prayed for freedom, but freedom requires friction. Even butterflies rest. Even wings tear. You'll still get tired, but now you'll fly towards purpose and not away from pain. When you rise, the world that once held you down can no longer hold you back. The gravity that bound you can no longer recognize you. You owe no one proof of your process. Just fly. I know what it feels like to fight for wings that don't seem ready, but God doesn't waste the wrestling. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. Your colors, your scars tell the story of grace. Every hue, every mark is a testimony. Peace isn't the absence of trouble, it's the presence of everything that will make you whole. And the butterfly is like the gospel in motion, chosen, growing, dying, rising. It's like Luke 1, verses 75 through 78. It comes alive, preparation, revelation, restoration, peace, every stage sanctified, every silence sacred. You were never made to crawl through life in survival mode. You were crafted to soar through in surrender. You were chosen in the egg, fed in the caterpillar, surrendered in the pupa, and commissioned in the butterfly. Your whole journey is and was sacred. So if you feel hidden, hungry, or held in the dark, remember God doesn't waste cocoons. What feels like delay is divine development. The stillness is not the end. It's the beginning of the becoming and the unbecoming. When the hour comes, you will not crawl again. You will finally fly. Whoa, wait 1 minute. Slow down. Because I have some amazing, exciting news to share. I am holding in my hand the first physical proof copy of my brand new P2P, Principles to Practice journal. It's a scripture to strategy journal for men who lead. So if you were tired of drifting, reading scripture and getting inspired for a moment only to fall back into those same old toxic habits, then this is for you, because too many men stop at inspiration when God has called you to application. That is why I have created this journal. It's not a diary, it's a discipline. Grab your copy now. If you go to Amazon and search the P2P, it will show up, or you can grab the link in the description. Don't you dare drift another day. God is calling you to apply these principles and walk with the person who is Jesus. And I can't wait to see what this is going to do in your life. Now, if today's bit of a spoken word, bit of a poetry for you, if this spoke to you, drop a butterfly emoji in the comments and tag a friend who might still be in that cocoon season. Their wings are coming soon. And if you're brave, tell us what stage you think you're in right now. Let's see how God's shaping us together. Now, as always, friend, I'm praying for you. I love you. Now let's go live better than best as we conquer this week. And I'll see you in this next video where we dive into another deeper step in finding who God has called us to be.